Another person who has flagged concerns over the perception versus the reality is Tara Turner. She is a professor at the First Nations University of Canada, and she joins us now in Saskatoon. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
You are also troubled by what you see in the media. Tell me about some of the concerns you have.
Well, I think sometimes we just see a lot of more negative stories portrayed in the news, where, really we see a lot of really positive things happening in community, in all communities, and that it's not really representative of the whole community, just, individual incidents and sometimes maybe not the context of where these incidents are situated in terms of kind of history and colonialism and the residential schools and that kind of thing.
What is some of the context that is missing? Is it largely centered around the background? Because you're right, these cases that get reported on, for example, the shooter from the Lolosh school shooting, he's been in the news this week, and those are extreme cases. Those are things that aren't happening every day at all. So what is some of the context around some of the stories that we do see headlined in the news every day?
Well, I think the history and of colonization in Canada, and history in Saskatchewan of people's experiences, and that the generations are still being impacted by those issues, right? And yet at the same time, there's people and communities that have really kept culture strong, have kept language strong, and are continuing to kind of grow those areas in their communities. So, and sometimes it seems like maybe the representation is sort of a whole community, or of that it reflects really on all First Nations, rather than just these, like you say, really kind of specific incidents in a way that it might not if it were from the mainstream.
Do you think telling some of those stories that are extreme, does that reflect on the entire Indigenous population in a way that is negative? Is that what you're saying?
I think it can, especially when we kind of have repeated stories. There are some good stories that are out in the news too, which is great, and I hope that we, especially sort of now in the time of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the calls to action, are going to be hearing more of those positive stories. I know we hear and see lots of positive stories all the time at First Nations University, with our students and with the communities that they're from, and so I just see so many strengths. I guess that's really what I see.
What can you point to non-Indigenous people to really take away from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's call to action to address some of the concerns around stereotyping and racism, and the efforts that we all want to make towards making it more equal for all of us here in Saskatchewan?
Well, I think learn as much as you can. I mean, the truth is part of the Truth and Reconciliation, so there is some difficult history. And then there's the reconciliation, and I think there's just so many opportunities right now to go out and to learn about First Nations communities and Métis communities in Saskatchewan, and connect with community and see what's happening there and meet the people and start to build those relationships more. And I think that will really help fight the racism and the stereotyping.
Are there some things that you can share, some positive things? We're getting into summer. I know this is powwow season. We enjoyed the First Nations University powwow a couple months ago, I guess now, but lots of exciting events.
There really is. There's just powwows all summer long. You wouldn't be able to make them to the mall, I don't think. And next week with National Aboriginal Day, there's going to be events out at the Batoche for us Métis, and at Wanuskewin, and in the city here in Saskatoon, and all over the province. So I think that's the best way is to go out, connect, and get to know your neighbors.
Some great advice. Thanks, Tara, for your time this afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you.